What's up everybody, it's Andrew Cuts here. In this video I'm going to be doing a Mohawk fade. This is a pretty unique haircut, not something you see too often, at least where I'm from, but it's a haircut I love giving myself, and it's a haircut that I've had a lot of people ask me for recently, so I'll be showing you guys the basic steps that I do here, and I hope you guys can learn something. So as you can see, to start things off here, I have my Andis Slimline Pros. I'm setting in my initial guideline around the right side of my head. One thing that's really important when you're doing this particular haircut is just making sure that you're setting in symmetrical lines on both sides. This is going to be the foundation of the haircut, so really just take your time with it. Make sure that you're not going too high or you're not putting this line in too low. Just really take your time until you get it at a spot where you really like it. I like to kind of start things up high, kind of like a high fade in the front of my head, and then I really drop it towards the back and give it that mohawk type of shape. So now I have my Babyliss foil shaver, and I'm balding out the area that we just removed all that hair. You want to notice that I'm not going all the way up to the line we just created. I'm stopping about a ½ inch below where we set that line in, and I'm also flicking out. That way I'm not creating any hard lines for myself. So now I'm coming in and I'm going to begin fading up. I have my lever all the way open. I have no guard on, and I'm going up about 1 inch. You want to notice I'm starting this section going up about 1 inch, but as I get towards the back, I'm making this section smaller and smaller. So by the time I get to the back of this mohawk, I'm really narrowing that section down to about maybe a ½ inch. Really towards the bottom it's probably like a ¼ inch, and the reason I'm doing that is I want to keep this back of the mohawk as full as possible. I'm going to be giving it a V shape, so I don't want to fade it out completely, or else you won't really be able to tell it's a mohawk. So you want to just try to keep that section towards the back as full as possible, and you'll see that as I begin fading up here. So right there I started with my lever all the way closed. I knocked that line up about a ¼ inch. Now I got my lever halfway, knocking that line up about another ¼ inch, and then finally in a second I'm going to open it up to 3/4 of the way open right there, and I'm just going to fade this line out the rest of the way. Sometimes there will still be a little bit of a line at the bottom. At that point I like to go in with my lever closed again and just use the corners to break up any lines that I see. You can also go in with your trimmer and just use the corners, and that will sometimes work as well to break up that bottom line. So now we're going to go in with our 1 guard with the lever all the way open, and we're going to go up about 1 inch. And I'm using here my Wahl Magic Clip cordless. Notice how I'm not going too wide with this guideline around the back once again. So now that we set this guideline in with the 1 open, we're going to go in with our 1 closed. See there, I'm closing the lever up, and I'm just going to start attacking that line. Now most times this line isn't going to get erased with the 1 open, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our ½ guard right after this. But as you can see, I'm just flicking at that line, trying to blend things out as much as possible. And just notice how I'm going along with the shape of that curve. So now I'm coming in with my ½ guard. When I come in with my ½ guard, I'm just pretty much getting rid of any of the line that's left over that the 1 closed didn't take out. So when I do this step, I usually just like to use the corners of the blade, and then if the corners aren't doing it, then I start to use a little bit more of the blade. But you don't want to use the whole blade right off the bat, because you might end up pushing the line up rather than fading it out. So now we're going to start blending the hair into the top. I got my 2 guard on, I have the lever all the way open, and I'm just pretty much looking at myself straight on and just trying to get the shape that I want for the blend into the top. I like to keep it pretty boxy, more of a square look, but you can kind of control that by just determining if you want to go really straight up or more, dig in more to the ridge of your head, give more of a curved look. So now I'm doing the same thing on this side that we did on the other side. We're starting out with our lever all the way open with no guard on, going up about an inch. And real quick, if you guys like the length of the back of that mohawk on my head, and maybe your hair's a little bit longer, it's probably at like a number 3 or a number 4. So if you guys have longer hair and you want to get the back of that mohawk down to about the length that I have, just start the haircut off by going all the way around with like a number 4 guard, and maybe even a number 3 guard if you want, to make it a little bit shorter. That way it would be a little bit more close to what I have, and then you can begin fading after that point. But as you can see here, I'll let you guys just watch me fade out this line. Once again, the steps are: start with the lever close, flick that line up a 1/4 inch, go halfway with the lever, flick it up another 1/4 inch, and then go 3/4 of the way with the lever and flick it out the rest of the way. Alright, so as you can see, we pretty much have this bottom line faded out the rest of the way. If you do still have a little bit of a line there at the bottom, what I like to do is go in with my trimmers and just use the corners to break up that bottom line. So now I'll let you guys watch this again. I have my 1 guard on, starting with the lever open, going up about an inch, then we're going to close it up and start attacking that next line. As you can see, the 1 close didn't completely get rid of that line, so once again we're going to come with our half guard, and we're just going to erase the line the rest of the way using mostly our corners. If you guys didn't watch my last self-cut video, definitely go watch that, especially if you're somebody who doesn't own a half guard. I showed what you can do as a substitute if you don't have a half guard and a 1.5 guard in that last video that I put out, so definitely go watch that if you haven't seen it already. Now I'm just doing the same thing I did on the other side, going in with that 2 guard open, blending this mohawk out the rest of the way, blending into the top. It's a really important step. You really just want to go straight up and just work out any ridges you see on your head there. So now I'm setting in this V in the back of my head here. This is a really difficult thing to do, just because it's really hard to have a good view of the back while also keeping your head straight. So I definitely recommend trying to do it yourself if you feel confident doing it yourself. But if you don't really have a good view and you don't really trust your hand yet, I recommend getting somebody around the house, if you have somebody that has a little bit of artistic ability, just to set this V in for you, just because it is really difficult if it's your first time and whatnot. Another good trick is, if you do want to try to do it yourself and you're not sure if it's straight, have somebody take a picture while you're looking straight on. That way you can see what adjustments you need to make. So here I'm just setting in a little design. Basically it's just 2 lines in the back of this mohawk that I'm going to connect with the beard. Since there's no hair really on the side of my head there, I pretty much just draw an imaginary line with either my finger or the trimmers that goes into my beard. Just want to give a shout out to Selfcut system. They did send me this mirror, and I've used it so much, and I'm just loving it so much. So thank you again to Selfcut System. They just put a video up of me on their page. So if you guys don't follow them, definitely go follow them and get yourself a mirror if you're somebody who cuts your own hair or is looking to get into cutting your own hair, because it definitely makes the whole process a lot easier. But anyway, now I'm just coming in with my straight razor, sharpening up those lines a little bit. So this is pretty much the final cut. I did line myself up. I just completely forgot to record it. But this is the final look. I hope you guys learned something from the video. If you did like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed already, definitely hit that subscribe button for me. I'm going to be doing a giveaway once I hit 5,000 subscribers, and I'm really close to that point. So definitely subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.